So Project L is only a couple years away, and it is being created by some titans of the fighting game community if you didn't know. Tom and Tony Cannon were founders of EVO and even created rollback netcode, which, if you didn't know, is the standard of fighting game netcode currently. The two of them created their own studio, which was acquired by Riot with the intention of turning it into the studio that will create the League of Legends fighting game. And now this studio was creating a game called Rising Thunder, which does have some of its core principles translating over. They had in mind creating a game that was easy to pick up and play and execute mechanically and be a very complex and advanced fighting game. These intentions remain true when they did their developer backyard back on the progress day of the whole, Arcane and League of Legends celebration. And during this peak, we got to see a lot more of this game than we ever had before. And while, of course, Rising Thunder is that basis, this is not the game that we're talking about. The game that actually is the secret sauce of Project L is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, a game surrounded by infamy that died right on release due to some skeevy practices from Disney. Now, because they own Marvel, of course, they're super excited for everything that had to come with the Infinity War and all of the characters they have the rights to for their movies. But when it comes to some properties like Fantastic Four, but primarily X-Men, they had them completely removed from this game, which is pretty heartbreaking considering Wolverine and many of the X-Men were staples since the beginning of the series. Tack on the fact that a lot of the Capcom character models looked really crap on release, and it was kind of a recipe for disaster. After this, it left a really sour taste in the mouth of the fighting game community, and it was kind of confirmed that the game would not get too much support. But the real kicker on top was that Dragon Ball FighterZ, ArcSys now claim to fame almost in the Western and modern fighting game audience, released, which being a team fighter featuring Dragon Ball kind of was the nail in the coffin for Marvel Infinite. But long game players speak very highly of the game, the actual mechanics and the fun that can be had when you play this game. Now, the League of Legends fighter has both tags and assists, which is very cool to have, but the similarities, I believe, will not end here. I mean, come on, give me some more credit. It's not just because it's a 2v2 fighter. This game had a third selection that you can make at the character select screen that completely changed everything. As I was saying, they were hyping up the Infinity War and all of the Marvel movies. Well, the Infinity Stones were given a really crucial place in this game, where they had the ability to drastically change the mechanics of which that you fight with. Depending on the stone that you select, you could do things like bring in both of your characters at the same time to fight. You could revive a character had they perished. You could even confine your opponent in a little box. So if that pesky zoner's just running away, zapping at you, you can at least force a moment where they have to take your mix-up. It was an incredibly cool choice to give you multiple different gameplay mechanics to really, look at your two favorite characters, make a team, and then go, what is that extra kick I can give them? Now, I think one of the biggest pain points that Project L is going to try and tackle in making the, easily accessible but hard to master fighter is how they are going to make longtime fighting game fans happy and find their home in this game, and also translate over a lot of fighting game mechanics to MOBA players and people that have never played the genre before. Now, there is something that players take in, a couple things, to a League of Legends game to personalize the game. Now, I don't think we're going to have equipment. I don't think we're going to have runes. Fighting game characters are very complex, and if you start adding in a whole list of stuff to make it funky, it becomes way too cumbersome to balance and just unnecessary. But in League, you do get two more options that you can take in that drastically change how a character plays. I am talking about summoner spells. These are spells that are universal across whichever character you pick. And, well, I think you see where I'm going with this. Now, in League of Legends, if you are going top lane, you can do Teleport or Ignite is a very common example that we would have of two summoner spells you could take. Ignite lets you have so much more presence in lane. It's very scary in your 1v1 when you're fighting against each other and you don't know what's going to happen. However, if you die, you are very punished as you now have to walk all the way back to lane, and that can be a real hassle and make you miss out on experience and fall behind. However, if you get that kill, damn, you're ahead. If you take Teleport, Yes, you won't have that kill pressure, but you can cover a mess up. And if you still manage to take that advantage, oh my god, are you in an advantage state? Times 2. The point that I'm getting at with this is that they can very easily add summoner spells, just like the Infinity Stones. In fact, I think they will over into the game to accomplish this task, and I think it would work perfectly. So let's say, for example, you have Ignite. You could ignite your opponent during your combo, and maybe it turns this combo that you found that does 95% of your opponent's health bar all the way to that 100% to be a true touch of death. Or what it could do is halt your opponent's blue life recovery, which is the bit of recoverable health that usually the character that is tagged out and sitting in the back gets to recover while the other one takes point. This can turn situations where you can throw out an Ignite on your opponent, and if the opponent's backup character was low but aiming to recover health, now calling them in as an assist is very dangerous during whatever that time window is, because if they get hit by a, flying attack that just goes off the wayside, it might kill their backup character. Another example that is a staple summoner spell everyone uses is Flash, which lets you blink in League of Legends between a couple points. In this, already we have the ability of using a neutral to quickly close the gap for positioning, or you could do it for some dangerous left and right mix-ups on your opponent. Or in this example, where you need to use an assist to make this Darius combo work, well, if you have something like Flash, this means that you can pull it off even if he is your solo anchor at the end. Or maybe make something even cooler happen. And straight up, if you watch this clip of Guilty Gear, this is just using Cleanse, And that's only 3 examples. They can always make more, or use some of the old summoner spells, bring back that nostalgia players have, and it really is such a fun way, and the most celebrated mechanic of Marvel Infinite. So that's where I see this game is headed. I had even heard a rumor that the developers were fans of the gameplay of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, so you take that together and this sounds kind of likely, that's all I'm saying. Don't forget to come back here when it happens to say good shit. I hope. But either way, very fun to talk about. Let me know who you'd want to see in this game and who you'd want to, teleport around. Like that, something like teleport, I'm not too sure, or smite, but I'm sure that there's some kind of use. Maybe it's even counterpick. That would be kind of cool if you counterpick summoner spells against like certain comps. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but there's a lot more to come because this game just gets my brain a buzzing and I can't wait. So yeah, until then, hope you enjoy whatever you're playing, and yeah, take care. Peace.